to accept the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Matt beat you to it. Matt seconded to you. Please, voting members, if you approve the agenda, raise your right hand and keep it up. It's not here. Martha? She might have. Okay, we passed 5 and we have 1 no vote. She might just have a voting.
Yeah.
I don't think that's, text Martha and tell her. Can I?
Martha, can you hear us? Can you hear Carl?
Do you have your speaker on?
I'm guessing no.
Turn your volume up. Okay,
He said she just texted me she can't hear.
well, everybody else can, so it's gotta be her.
Yeah.
It's gotta be you. Good afternoon, Bridget. Okay,
Yeah, make sure she just doesn't have her volume muted.
we're gonna get back to business now. We're under announcements. We have 2 announcements to make today. First of all, I want to thank you, 9 of us unanimously approved Tony's salary and benefit package for FY '23. It's already in the budget, so we don't have to approve it. But I told Tony that 9 people were enthusiastic support for the work she's been done. So thank you, Tony.
Thank you, everyone.
The second announcement is the executive committee has had 2 negotiation sessions with MTPM, Ken Michael. With that, the 1 meeting was in Prince George's County in his office, and 1 meeting was here in this office. The meetings, the negotiations are going well. We are waiting for a response back from Mr. Michael. On that, I want to remind the board, the executive committee cannot approve anything. Any change to the agreement must come to the board for a full vote. So you will have to receive a full briefing on the negotiation, and then you will vote on that before we can enter into an updated development agreement with Ken Michael. Does anybody have any on the process? I want to welcome Executive Hornberg, Commerce, Ms. Peters, and MHT, Ms. Hughes. Welcome to each of you.
Hi, sorry I was late.
That's okay. We were talking about you, but it wasn't there. Okay, you have 2 sets of minutes that we need to approve, May 20, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve May 22.
Second?
Joe Brandt, I second the motion.
Thank you, Joe. If you have any questions on the minutes, any corrections? All in favor, raise your right hand. Let's reflect that it was unanimous. Okay, June 22nd, June 2022 minutes. Do I have a motion?
So move, Mario.
Okay, thank you, Mario. Joe.
Joe?
I said.
I second the motion, Joe Brandt.
Okay, thank you. Matt beat you to it.
Okay.
We have a little time delay here. Any questions or corrections to the June 2022 minutes? All in favor, raise your right hand, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Chick Ham sent you you got the report today. You got the ledger, and you also got a full report from Chick, who couldn't be with us today. First of all, I just want to talk about the budget, the first paragraph, financial condition and results for June. I'm not going to read to anybody. Does anybody have any questions about Chick's treasurer's report on the June budget update? Okay, with us. I have a motion to accept the June 2022 Treasurer's report.
Mario, so moved.
Mary Ann, second. Jim Ramos, thank you, Jim. Any questions on Chick's financial report for June? All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Thank you. Yeah, I gave an update that Tony has been involved. We have secured the services of a new audit, SB and Company. They've started the work. As Chick reported last Friday, it's normal for the new auditing firm to talk to the former auditing firm to find out procedures, et cetera. Tony is very comfortable in working with the new group. She and Kim is our bookkeeper, are now ready to provide the materials as soon as they ask for them. And usually the audit is completed at the end of September, end of October, and then so that's just an update for everyone. Tony reported, but also Chick reported in his report that the annual payment from MTPM was received as expected. There has been no issue with that over the years. With that, that money has been put into the operating account, $415,270. Chick is recommending we transfer $300,000 to a money market and then reevaluate 6 months from now. I'm going to ask first of all for questions. Any questions on the payment or on the recommendation to put $300,000 into a money market, obviously for interest purposes? Got a motion to accept Chick's recommendation?
I make a motion to accept the financial recommendation from the treasurer.
Miss Mario, I'll second.
Questions? Any questions from any board members? All hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. Martha, welcome. It's good to see you and see your right hand. Okay.
I told her it was sunspots interference, so she put her sunglasses on.
Very good. Joe, you have a town school report?
Yes, I think there's really only one topic for this. It's not even for discussion, for information. Tony has copiously gone through all of the expenses relating to Tome School to see what could be used for the match for the grant or the Maryland State grant, and has come up with a total which meant she had to redo the application again, which hopefully she'll get a result or an acceptance. I'm hoping, I guess, in a month. Does that sound right, Tony?
Yes, I hope it will come sooner than a month, but I was able to finally connect with our grants manager and go through all of the expenses in our log. There are some specific parameters with ground maintenance. They don't qualify standard maintenance, but they do qualify improvements. So things like tree removal and things like that, but mowing would not be included. So to make it easier and hopefully quicker for review, I repackaged it, redid the invoice log, and then sent that back out for hopefully approval within the next few weeks.
So, Tony, we're still in a holding pattern, right?
We are still slowly moving along.
Okay, we have to stay at it. That's important for the headmaster's house. Mario sent us you received this morning a environmental committee report. I hope people have had the opportunity to read it. Mario, do you have any updates or?
Just real quick, we continue to progress on the permitting aspect. We can now do the repairs to the head wall, and then hopefully soon we'll get the final permit, which is to do the work in the stream and the culverts itself. So progressing, and hopefully I'll be able to delete that from the report. I'm kind of a little bit behind on the solar stuff, but I'll try to, I'm making a commitment that by September I'll have a little bit more to report than We just talked about it. That's it.
Well, thank you. Any questions from anyone? We have a volunteer visitation of the railroad embankment culvert repair after it cools down a little bit. And Tony and Mario will lead the hike into it so we can see that. I'm doing that half jokingly, but half seriously. We've spent so much time on this. I think board members who wish to make the trek ought to go back and see what we're talking about. Obviously, it's not on site.
Nope.
It's a different location. So some of you may not have seen that and would be very interested. So come September or October, the temperature cools a little bit. We'll take a hike. Okay, any questions for Mario? Okay, we're gonna have the executive director's report. And as you can see, there are 5 items on that report. And if you have a question at any time, just stop us. Otherwise, we're going to work right through each of them. Done?
For phase 1, with mass grading activities, we are at 18% completion for building A, 98% completion for building C, and 95% completion for building C. We have not started building D because that just received its final permitting, so they'll need to do some stormwater sediment erosion conversions before they do any mass grading over there. We did have the county inspectors and the soil conservation inspectors out last week. We took them around it was the day before the storm that we received, or it might have been the day of. We took them around to all 12 ponds so they could see how they were functioning. They were extremely happy with how everything looked. We got not a single negative comment or report on anything, so that was great. Some other progress on phase 1 is they have the retaining wall going up at building B, and we've got, since we're finalizing some of the mass grading activities, it's a little bit easier for us to get connecting from up here down to 222 without having to go through the entire site. That's main activities for phase 1. Any questions on that? No, I do not have a tenant to report, I'm sorry. Yeah. In terms of phase 2, the Navy is doing their second round of activity-based sampling. They submitted their sediment and erosion plans to the county and to the soil conservation district for their review. They've sent some preliminary comments and we'll have some revisions on that. We are working on the modification. I just reached out to our Navy contractor this morning to see if he had an update because the first ESTA expires next month. So we just want to make sure if there's anything that needs handled in advance of that we take care of that so we are not down on the gun. That's about it for phase 2. Obviously, Carl already commented that we're still working through some discussions with the development team, phase 2.
It is our intent that we sign on to a new development agreement prior to the specific work on phase 2, so that we can move forward unobstructed by old language versus new conditions, so forth. And as I said before, we'll keep the board informed on that. Infrastructure.
For infrastructure, as you know, all of the off-site sewer work has been completed. They've started to install all of the sewer laterals to all of the buildings. For the water line, there's been about 1,200 linear feet of the water line extension along 276 that's been installed, and they've started those laterals as well. And then there's about a few thousand feet of laterals that have already been installed. One thing that I forgot for phase 1, they started pouring concrete yesterday. They started pouring building concrete yesterday, so that's exciting.
That's on the slab.
Slab, yeah, they started pouring the slab. Our general contractor, Jeremy, our superintendent, he's been here for almost 24 hours at this point to make sure that everything has a smooth start.
That's it. And you should put that in.
Yes, yep.
And back to there's the KSBG&E, are they getting down here for the tie-in?
They are, they're engaged, but in terms of their timing perspective, I don't think they've started any on-site work yet. I think they were still handling some of the design details. But there's been no issues with BG or Del Mar.
Just for everybody's case, you haven't been here, on 276 between here and the 275 intersection, BG&E has been doing major gas work for the last 2 months in that same site, and they have been working, and that's what Jim was referring to. And as Tony said, they're getting ready to be able to move forward on that. Tony, would you remind the board what, because of Artesian putting in the water line, what the projection is on replacing the fence?
Yes, so the fence line was within the construction area that we have for installing the water line. So what they'll do is, as they get that completed and it gets signed off by the inspectors and everyone, then they'll have a fence line that'll be reinstalled, not at our cost, it will be MRP's cost.
Yeah.
But I did notify our environmental contractor who inspects the landfills prior to their inspection. Don't be alarmed, this has been taken down in construction, so they were fine with that.
Just want to make sure, in case you get questions by other people about security and so forth. It's under control, and that fence will be put back up. Apparently, it's going to be a pretty good looking fence. Security, Tony.
There's nothing to report with the Tone School metal. However, we did get some cameras installed up here by the offices. The general contractor got those installed, so at least there's a little bit more protection up here. What's down by the staging area at 222 is too large that someone could not get, that you could not remove any of that by hand. But there was obviously a concern up here. There's a lot of tools, there's gas. We know gas is a hot commodity right now. So they've gotten all that hooked up, and the sheriff's office has been really helpful, but understandably so. It's kind of, it's hard to try and pinpoint who would have come by on site. Knock on wood, no issues to report.
And another place.
Yes, so after we had the issue down at Tone School, all of the locks and all of the gates were replaced, all of the codes were changed. And Jen and I have kept a stock of locks here just in case if a lock goes missing or it's cut or something, we have things on standby that we can always replace that with.
I'm sure the board is aware, but when you have a site this large and you have locks on gates, there are certain people, fire services and so forth, that have to get on site. So you have to give codes or combinations out, so at 2 a.m. people can get access. Well, periodically, for those of us who have gray hair, you have to change those just to make sure you have some control of the numbers that are given out. Not casting any dispersions on anyone. It's just good practice to be able to do that. Our latest executive director update, Port of Deposit Historic Park legislation, SB 541.
The commission that was created with the legislation that I'm a member of, we had our first initial meeting on July 6th. It was a virtual meeting. We thought for scheduling for the secretary of DNR thought for scheduling purposes that would be the most productive way to convene. We were asked to present just on me as the property owner what the current conditions are of the site and any things that would impact the legislation via policy or fiscal perspective. And I believe they're looking at scheduling the next meeting in August. It will be virtual as well. And I believe that is where MHT will have their spotlight.
Any questions for Tony? Thank you, Tony. We have no old business today. You did get on the minutes that came out to you. You saw a flyer, Port Deposit Pirate Takeover. Okay, a few years ago when we, Tony's going to explain this in a second, but a few years ago, I'll just remind you, we participated in an event for the Chamber of Commerce in Annapolis. And it was decided at that point with discussion that any sponsorships will require board approval. So Tony came to the executive committee and reminded us of the rule. So first of all, she's going to talk about the flyer, what it's about. Vicki is also here, so she can make some comment, as well as Mayor Cruz, if they would like. And then we're gonna make a recommendation and ask for your, opinion. Tony?
Oh, Tom, yes, so, there's an event in Port, September 17th and 18th, Pirate Takeover. And, MRP is participating under the Bainbridge Logistics Center brand. And, I personally thought it would be a nice way to give back to the local community. Obviously, we're a member of Port Deposit, so I think that's it benefits the town of Port Deposit and community connecting us. My recommendation was going to be Neptune's Grail, which is $1,000 sponsorship. So Bob, Vicky, I don't know if either of you want to give any specific details on how the weekend will unfold. I plan to come and join for Sunday's events.
Mayor Case, would you like to make any comments?
I think that Vicky is probably best served to speak about this. This is her baby.
Okay. Vicky?
Yes, the event was held in Having Grace previously, and they approached Community Connecting Us, which is a nonprofit that operates in the town of Port Deposit. She's been operating there about 2 to 3 years, and she does a lot of community outreach for families and children in our area. And she also provides library services through there. And this is a living history event that will be held in Marina Park. We have a troupe of very enthusiastic pirate reenactors. If any of you have ever been to any living history events, it's kind of cool. So they will be down there Saturday and Sunday camping out and all that fun stuff. We're gonna have a tank full of mermaids performing all weekend and some other things going on. So we're hoping to make it a full 2-day event of fun for the whole family.
I would just say, and I know Bridget, but I'm sure others, I used to participate in the Having Grace event, and it was quite the scene. And that's all fun.
I'm very excited with this event, Vicki. I mean, this is something my son growing up volunteered for in Having Grace, and he worked with all the children's events during that time. And Patrick has his full outfit. I have my outfit, and we're ready to join in anytime you want us. And if I can bring anything from the commerce spectrum on this, let me know, because Secretary Gill is all about the Pirate Cove.
Thank you very much.
Vicki, can you say a little bit more about the benefactor of this event and what they do in the town of Port Deposit?
Community Connecting Us came into the Methodist Church complex on North Main Street. The Methodist Church has since disbanded their religious section there, I guess, and they have taken over all of the buildings. Nesbitt Hall and Methodist Church, and then there's a parsonage house as well. So they anticipate that they will be redoing those buildings at the time to offer additional services through the church complex, different classes. They do other things. They do like yoga classes. They have a book club. As I said, the library branch closed in Port Deposit, and they undertook all of their services. They have computers there, a computer lab for kids. They do after school programs. They actually just submitted a GOCCP grant to do a huge after school program starting in September, where they'll be offering classes and different things for kids after school up until 7 p.m. So, you know, they're a great group. Erica and her husband both run that, and Port Deposit is very fortunate to have them in our community.
I have one question.
Sure. Jim?
Are they funded once they are, it's the approach that they service organizations for donations from the slot
From
slot machine?
Like the American Legions.
support FW and Port. And they did approach the casino. That's did give anything.
Well, is it?
Well, it's gonna be, said the letter post 135, because, yeah, they are Perryville and a lot of members of from Fort Deposit. All right,
Very good, thank you.
Any questions for Tony or Vicky? Matt? Yeah, I'm going to scroll still.
Community connecting us.
Any questions on virtual folk? Okay, we need a motion. Well.
yeah. I'm not gonna be a giant. But it sounds not cheap now. Not cheap, but when it comes to kids and the community, I think. The Honorable Wilkins.
Is that a motion, Jim?
Okay, the motion is, go ahead and make it.
I'd like to make a motion that we donate to the town of Port Deposit a sponsorship for the Jolly Hunter, $2,500 sponsorship for their event.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, Martha. Discussion.
I would also like to add that both Mr. and Mrs. Burge are locals. They've grown up in the area. So they really do know what's needed. And the other thing is that their group is not just geared towards children. They have a lot of adult activities also, different evenings. And they also have AA meetings there. So they truly are an all-encompassing community thing, which Port Deposit dearly needs.
I have no idea of the whys and wheres, but I was seriously disappointed when I learned that the library closed their local bank branch in Port Deposit. Such a critical resource for people in the town of Port or outside surrounding areas and so forth. So I was glad to hear that Vicky said they do a lot of work providing library services on that. Other questions?
So to be very clear, because it broke up, but I think Jim's motion was for $2,500, $2,500.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, moving to ask. And I'll ask Tony to do a voice vote on this one. The motion in the second is to donate $2,500 to Port Deposit for the purpose of supporting the pirate takeover.
Joe Brand,
In favor, yes.
There we go.
Mayor, I'm a yes.
Martha, oh, you're
Yes.
second,
Yes.
thank you. Matt,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
That's a super gesture on that stuff. I appreciate it, but here's the other thing. We've been saying for several years, we are in the town of Port Deposit and we are part of Port Deposit. I think this sends a good message to the town of Port Deposit that Bainbridge Development Corporation is indeed a partner with it. So thank you very much.
Just a quick comment. You know, it is Port Deposit, but a lot of these activities reach regional as far as Perryville, Havre de Grace, and the other regions, and engaging those students and that population to understand the history of Port Deposit. So great job, guys.
I'd like to thank everybody for the generosity. I'm sure it'll help us quite a bit.
Does anybody need any general public comment? We have no public people on here today. You're in public, but.
Can I add a motion that Carl has to dress up as a pirate that day?
It's out of order.
I'll second it.
I will participate in one way. I don't know about dressing up. Just-
We know you'll drink all the rum. We got that down.
Okay. Go ahead, Johnny.
Just one comment before we close. Moving forward, when we send out the packet, the week prior, I'm gonna do a poll to see if anyone would like a hard copy packet printed. That way, we're not printing a lot and the paper getting wasted. So if someone would like a hard copy packet when they come to the meeting, we are happy to print it for you, but that way we won't print a bunch of stuff that unfortunately doesn't get, just trying to be environmentally friendly.
I think it's excellent. And especially through Zoom, you're not getting the copy anyway. Yeah, but, okay, anything else for the good of the order? Okay, now. This is really good. Okay. With that-
Sorry, did you say my name or I don't know if I missed that.
I think,
Oh, is that somebody else?
Bob,
Oh, it's Bob. I thought it was Danielle. It appeared under your name because of where you are in the screen.
Okay,
Automatically thought you said it, but I apologize.
very,
Bob Hughes was being wise guy. All right, everybody, thank you for your participation. Our meeting is August 15th at 3:30. Without any objection, this meeting is adjourned.
All right, everybody have a good one.
Thank you, everyone.